This is CNC World, a new perspective.
Now to roll back the clock about 120 years to America's so-called Gilded Age and the way an elite family in Chicago spent their Christmases. The Glessner House in Chicago belonged to one of America's most successful industrialists. It's now a museum of architecture and decoration. So what better time to drop in than the holidays? Lifestyles takes you there.
Designed during the so-called Gilded Age, when America's newly rich industrialists were living in modern-day castles, Glessner House represents the architect Richardson's response to the Glessner's desire for a simple, comfortable home that retained the cozy feeling of their previous home. Stepping into the main hall, where is the center of family activity, stands the big Christmas tree decorated exactly in the way how the Glessners would do over a century ago.
Christmas trees like we see here that would stand on the floor. This is a live tree that comes from New Hampshire, where the Glessners used to have their summer estate. It's decorated with antique ornaments that are made out of either glass, which would have come from Germany, or small paper ornaments called scraps that the children would collect and decorate and hang on the tree. The other main decoration are the strings of popcorn and cranberries, which they would put together with a needle and thread, and after Christmas was done, they would hang those outside so that the birds could eat them.
The Glessners would also put live greens decorations around the house to keep the air fresh, but unlike today, the decorations would only be put on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. In the children's schoolroom, there is a small Christmas tree on the desk, decorated exactly the same way as the Glessners did in 1888 that was presented on a photo of the family, except that the electric candles would be live candles back then. Beneath the tree, typical toys are prepared for the kids, including scarves, books, and dominoes. The parlor would have been a reception area for guests, and the architect Richardson lowered the ceiling ever so slightly here to emphasize the intimacy of the setting. A southern wall of windows provides abundant natural light. 100 years ago, Mrs. Glessner would sit before a table in this room to make some of the holiday gifts and decorations herself, such as scarves, decorated pillows, and popcorn and cranberry ornaments. One of the interesting holiday decorations that is similar to today's air fresheners are the Pomander Balls, a Christmas tradition that could be dated back to colonial times.
Another popular activity was to make what was called Pomander Balls. These would use fresh oranges, and then they would stud them with cloves and cover them in cinnamon. They would give a very nice smell in the room, and then they could also be used in closets.
On the table, there is also one of the popular games of the time, which the Glessners' children would often play, the literary salad. With green papers written with quotes, people would guess which book or poem they're from. One of the highlights of Christmas is the Christmas dinner, which includes 8 courses for the Glessners family. Lucky enough, the museum has all the menu books of the family, and therefore they know exactly how they serve as dinner at Christmas.
The dining room table at the museum is set for Christmas dinner in 1895. We know that the dinner was 8 courses. It started with oysters, followed by soup, and then 3 courses of meat and potatoes, and then a salad course, and then 2 courses of dessert, including roasted chestnuts and plum pudding, both of which were very traditional for Christmas. The meals would take a long time to serve. The butler or the waitress would bring all the courses in, and then there would be different wines and ciders that were served with each one of the courses.
Christmas is also a time of giving and receiving holiday cards and gifts. The family library stores 15 of the holiday cards when the family received during Christmas. The tradition of sending Christmas cards started in the 1840s in England, and by the time the Glessner House was built, it had become a very popular custom.
Cards were very elaborate. They would have fringe and glitter and fancy color decorations on them, and often they would be kept and then used as decorations or ornaments in the following years when they would decorate the house for Christmas.
Mrs. Glessner would send gifts to her family in Ohio and to New Hampshire for the workers on their farms. Before the time when wrapping papers could be bought from stores, Mrs. Glessner would use leftover scraps of wallpaper to do the wrapping. The Glessner family lived in this house for 50 years, through the rise and decline of the Pryor Avenue neighborhood in Chicago. The innovation, floor plan, and design of the Glessner House rank it as one of the most important residential commissions of the 19th century. He was later designated as a Chicago landmark and National Historic Landmark, attracting visitors interested in the 19th century culture and family life. The holiday decoration event will run through January the 5th.
This is CNC World, a new perspective.